Hi, I'm Jason Buck. I work with Remax Estate Properties, but today I want to talk to you a little bit more about what's happening in the Portuguese Bend area or the Palos Verdes landslide. I'm here in a valley, and you can see down below me Portuguese Bend Beach Club and part of the reef that's sticking out into the ocean there. This is the Seaview neighborhood next to me, and as we scroll this way, you can see a major fissure here where the land has moved away and exposed some piping and things. And as that continues here, going along this way, and then this has absolutely, totally major damage moving forward into the Seaview neighborhood. That's the house, pretty much at Dauntless and Exultant. And for as much as the value that was here in these homes, some of them are really not worth a whole lot anymore. Some of them have extreme damage. 4362 Exultant, which was a $2.5–3 million home, on the market now for 1.3 with barely any chance of getting a sale. The home has a big dip in and is being pulled apart, mainly because they located a second layer of bentonite. There is a historical landslide where the land was moving about an inch a month. And then earlier this year, they found a second area of bentonite at 300 feet below surface where the land is moving much faster, 3.5 to 4 feet a month, which is over an inch a day. And that's creating these giant fissures and problems. And there's been a little bit of relief, but not enough. And this is a disaster area with some pretty serious consequences for some of these homes. And we still need some help. And I have with me here today Jerry Yutronich, fellow realtor and homeowner of this area. In fact, we're standing on his property now, and just wanted to talk about, what can we do to make this better and get some of his insight. So, hey, Jerry, what's happening?
What's happening, Jason? Well, it's a challenge. Looking at this chasm and all the movement, it's done nothing but increase over the last 5 to 6 months dramatically. And I think the frustration lies in who's going to fix this. Is it the city? Is it K-Clad who runs the area here?
What is K-Clad?
It is a Klondike Canyon Abatement District, and it is an organization that is supposed to maintain the water flow through the canyon and avoid something like this.
We can see water on the bottom.
Yeah, water's still flowing from the backside of rolling hills down into the canyon. I mean, where they're supposed to line the canyon, they're supposed to fill in all of this fissure area. And
so we can see some homes up there that are in the Rolling Hills neighborhood, and there is basically a valley right here with water at the bottom of it that's still moving as of now. Amazing.
If they don't fill the fissures and create a swell to take the water from the backside of all the homes on Dauntless to get them out of harm's way, the water's just going to go in the neighborhood. So it was interesting when they built the track next to us. There is a natural, not a natural, but they put in a swell to take all the water from the hill and divert it away from the homes. And when they built Seaview, they didn't do that. So my understanding is part of the fix is to put a swell here, compact the fissure, use the natural dirt that they have here, and fill this area before rain comes. We were told it was going to start in mid-October. It just didn't happen. And here we are almost November 1st, and I'm worried.
I'd be worried too. And I'm sorry that this is happening. But look, he made a really good point. I mean, this is not only just for us here and now, but anyone that has a slope in their yard and they have a swale, that's there for a reason. It's to control the water. And you need to get out there and clean it and make sure that it'll function correctly, or it's going to hit that swale and fall over. This is a much more extreme condition because underneath the ground at 130 feet and 300 feet is bentonite. And so when the water hits that, it becomes slippery and we're having massive land movement. Keep in mind, like Jerry said, 5-6 months ago, I remember Christmas time, there was no reef there. And it's hard to tell in this footage, but I have another video. None of that reef, like almost 3 football fields worth of dirt have come up out of the ocean from subduction. As this land is coming down, that land has come up. So I've heard.
I've been down there. It's crazy.
It's crazy. We've never seen that
It looks
before.
like it went out 400 feet and it went up 10 or 15 feet.
Oh, 20,
vertically.
20 or 30 feet.
Yeah,
it's still rising.
Mind-boggling.
It's mind-boggling, and it's happening fast. In the course of 7 months, that's all new stuff. So this is still active.
And my frustration is everything runs downhill. They've got to pay attention to the top of the hill and get this thing compacted and in a drainage system that works from up here, so that I'm very happy that they're pumping out the amount of water they are down at all the wells. I believe there's 9 wells. 200
to 400 gallons a minute?
No, I think it's up to like if you add up all the wells, there's 9 wells. So you add them up, it's about 1,000 gallons a minute, which is great. But if they don't solve the problem with the water penetrating at the top of the hill, they could be pumping.
It doesn't matter.
10,000 gallons.
And so, historically speaking, too, that's part of our problem, right? There were some pumps at the bottom that weren't functioning to get the water out. So as all this new water came from the 22 and 23 winters, it overflowed. The same in Portuguese Bend, they had pumps that were failing. It got to be too easy because it was an inch a month. It was attainable. They had let some other homes be built because things weren't moving that bad.
Yeah.
And it caught up with us real quick. And we didn't expect to have those kind of winters. I mean, they were 3 to 4 times our normal rain amount. You don't think of it until you get to a situation like this, but this is a disaster, and there's roughly 350 homes that are affected by this. Most of those homes that I just mentioned have no gas and no electricity, and so there's been a mad break to try and get solar or propane.
And Jason, I think that's a big misnomer. I think a lot of people think that we have an endless checkbook, people that live in Palos Verdes, and I tell you, it's a working class neighborhood, and the majority of financial accessible assets have been the house, either through a line of credit or the ability to refinance, and you can't do it now.
House
it's been red
assets,
tagged. I mean, there's a moratorium. If you try to get a refinanced loan on your home, they're going to say no. So now you got these poor people trying to figure out, okay, it's $50,000 to $80,000 to re-energize, getting off the utility grid of electricity and gas. Where do I find the 70, 80 grand? Because I can't get a line of credit on my home. It's a catch-22. It's brutal, and then you've got repairs on your home on top of that.
Right.
There's a lot of people that are in pickle right now.
And it's not like they can just sell and go away, because everyone that's heard anything on the news, and it's national coverage, so people have heard about it.
My guesstimation is 60% of the property value is dipped because of this, maybe even more. So I do think we've got light at the end of the tunnel. The water's being withdrawn. It's slowed down. Fix this, and then I think people will be able to fix their homes with the confidence that if they're spending X amount of dollars, it's a smart investment.
Right.
And we need to turn that corner, but we need to get this solved.
Right.
So I'm hoping
we've got
that
to solve getting the water to not flow into these canyons.
Not to penetrate either the canyon or the exposable area here. The swells have got to be put in. The adjoining neighborhood doesn't have any issues because they put the swells in when the developer came in. So whoever authorized Seaview to be developed should have put the swells in.
Yeah.
Should have been common sense.
Yeah. There was a historic slide here called the Klondike Slide, which is behind us. They used to mine in this area way back in the day. They would get stuff like dolomite or diatomaceous earth, things like that, which was common throughout Palos Verdes. Those mines were abandoned in the 50s, and then we had the slide over in Portuguese Bend that started perhaps from a ruptured spring when they were trying to expand Crenshaw Boulevard. And they did do a lot of fill-in, and they slowed it down after that, which was a fast-moving slide down to a slow-moving slide. There's been some relief from the local neighbors. We've had some dinners provided for some residents that are without electricity or gas weekly, but we're coming to the end of that donation. And so if you're interested, I have a link or a QR code that you can give some money and or a big donation to try and help sponsor the dinners, especially coming up towards Thanksgiving, or if you have another way of finding someone who's willing to donate either money or resources. There's still a grave need for either solar, electrical things, generators, and propane. Or you can just contact our local association, PVPAR.
You guys have been great. I think from the standpoint of getting a meal without having to figure out where you're going to buy or cook. But I think the other aspect of it is it creates a neighborhood camaraderie. So I've attended a couple of them, and it's been great just to sit down and talk to people and find out what they're happy about and what's frustrating them. And I think when they get that off their chest,
right,
and they realize that there's other people in their same shoes,
yep,
it kind of reduces the amount of stress. And the stress up here has been pretty immense.
It's gnarly.
Thanks. I appreciate you guys coming out.
You're welcome.
It's
And
been-
you know what?
that's
That's been
well
something I'm extremely proud of this year, to be a major part of that. Mainly for thanks like that, and thanks from the people, and thanks from the people that are older that really don't have family that can help them, or even the knowledge to fill out the form on the
Yeah.
the other day I was helping them fill out their forms because they were having trouble with the computer, and you're just sitting there going, my God, I feel so bad
Yeah.
for them.
There's definitely an aging community here that I feel bad. They need help. They need, and again, that Wednesday, I could see smiles on people's faces that normally during the week when I'm walking around the neighborhood, they look down. So everybody looks forward to Wednesday. So if you guys can extend it somehow, some way,
Yeah.
I think it's well received.
Thank you. Yeah, it's hard to go from such a pristine environment with these views and how magical this area is, to driving the roads now full of dust and noise from generators and tension from uncertainty. Whatever relief we can do is
I think
gonna help.
uncertainty is a big thing. I think once if you can fix that, I think people understand. There's gonna be bumps in the road, and we'll figure it out as a community, as an individual. But I think that uncertainty is going to have to be shaved, and I think we're getting there.
Yeah.
I hope so.
So I just want to stress that this is a disaster. There are people that are in serious need here. It's been hard to funnel some of the comments from people that don't understand what's happening here, and they knew that this was bad. Well, they didn't, not like this. This is roughly 30 times worse than it ever was. It's hard to say, and it's hard to understand unless you're here. But if you feel like you want to be a part of it or help, please do so, or contact us to find a way that we can put our resources together, because that's what's helping these people get by. So thanks for watching. Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks, Jason.